Okay, how's everybody doing this fine morning? Oh, still very much winter. Right, we've got the drivers up with us, but we've already hit the M2 a couple of times at the range, so we've got the M4. We're going to use the same shaft, and on this two head thing, you'll have been watching the TaylorMade fittings and stuff, and probably been watching it in amazement, eh? Bearing in mind that the drivers are like 500 quid now, and the tech guys are recommending that you take one driver, and then another head. So if you like, see, you and me, we're going to get fit on that process, and we pay 500 quid for a driver and a shaft. They'd probably charge us 300, 400 quid just for another head. So you're talking like just under a grand to get the same sort of setup. And I know the argument is obviously, oh, but they are pros and they get their equipment for free. I mean, I know they do, but it's still really expensive, isn't it? So let's really show you this exaggerated move here. So remember, if I didn't, when I'm set up, if I didn't turn and I just moved away from the ball, throwing my hands up on the 45, this is all I'm doing in my golf swing, right? So we'll start slow and show you it. So there's no shoulder movement whatsoever. Let's start putting some shoulder movement in. See how it vanishes? And then it's just like a normal golf swing, because it is. And I mean, basically, that's all your golf swing is. So just make sure your 45 Varden grip, that's the key. Get that set so that that line is going up here, and then this hand here, that line is going up here, and you're then just throwing up on that line. Like I say, it doesn't really matter how much actual turn you have. You can blend it in and you can get it going. So M4, 10.5 degree. We've actually slightly, yeah, what we've done here, we've somehow managed to do 2 clicks down, so it's probably just it actually sits alright, it's probably a 10 degree, I think. I can't remember what the shaft spleens are, I think not that great, so that's what I'm doing, and I'm turning in. And remember, you've got to think right, because you're looking right, that's your aim. Well, that's definitely louder than the M2. Louder off the face. Wow. Absolutely. Right out the middle. Always a good start, catching the middle. Okay. Good shaft, this Fujikura. This is a green one. You get like a yellow. So there's my checkpoint. When I'm setting up, I want my hands in this position so I know I'm there. And my wrists are only doing that. They're not doing any flapping about. Ooh, yes, much louder. And I've got to say, it feels faster through the air. I'm just looking at the head, and there is a difference in the head. the head on this it's huge, but where this one is, it's as big on top, but the bottom part shallows out more than this does, so I'm reckoning it goes through the air better. It's shallower here than this is, like massive. It's like, I mean, when you look at it, I think because of the white, the silver on the top definitely calms down the whole aesthetics of it. But like I say, the TaylorMade and that, a lot of people like these because it aided your alignment, and they've gone away from that now. In fact, the newer ones don't even have, it's just a seamless blend. But not everyone likes it, so like I say, feels really good, and every single one is coming out the exact same place. This has got the twist face on it as well. There's a thing. Did the M2 have a twist face? I don't think it did. No, M2 does not have a twist face. M4 does. Does it make that much of a difference? I think it does. I've hit them before and I've always thought they helped slightly. And you can see as well, hopefully you can see, I go on about this a lot, but your body movement and stuff, they'll have you believe, that, oh yeah, you can control your body movement. Hang on a second, right? You can control your body movement, right? The swing is 1.1 of a second. You can control your body movement. So I say, and my logic is that if you set up, you're throwing up here and you're driving the club up with a turn, and then see how that immediately drives everything up and keeps you, like, going back to the videos about being in a box. And then from there, and this is the key, Ernest Jones talked about this, the club being thrown means that the body follows it. First thing to move, last thing to stop. First thing to move has got to be the club. Last thing to stop has got to be the club. Right? So you got to use the club. Club's a lever, a tool. You're holding a tool. So yeah, it's a funny looking one. It's angular. You've got to throw it on an angle, a 45-degree angle. You've got to react to that throw. When you do, you catch it out the middle. That's out the middle again. Every single shot, bang, shoo. So what you've got to watch for these adjusters, see that there, every shot out the middle. What you've got to watch when you're adjusting these is when you do adjust them inside the sleeve, it not only adjusts the angle of the face, try and get this, it can adjust the lie angle. Now, I know from experience the last thing I want is to have it too upright. Yeah, so I actually want it slightly on the flat side. So I know from experience that if I take it to standard loft, but I go one click that away or one click that away, I don't really affect the lie angle. If anything, I slightly lower the lie angle, because under load and centrifugal force, you get what's called shaft bow. So that's your shaft, but it bows that away like a bow and arrow. So the toe goes under load. down the way, obviously through the air when you're moving the club. And it's something to take into consideration. Why would you worry if it was too upright? Right? Because if it was too upright, then when it bows, it's getting even more upright. The toe hits and it twists open because it's hitting the ground, and you end up right field. You made a good swing. It's just that the toe digs in, right field. That's why you need to get your lie angles checked dynamically, not statically. Because statically can be fine, but when the shaft bows, and there's your issue, every shaft has slightly different flex profile. So how do you know how much it bows unless you do it dynamically? So maybe a wee bit. Hopefully, I'm making it simple to understand, but it's worth doing. Obviously, you take a bit of time doing it, unless you get what Wilson staff used to do, Titleist to a certain degree, and certainly Mizuno, frequency matched shafts. They did it really more in the irons. So basically what that meant was every iron they made up, they tested the shaft for frequency, thereby in the hopes that the bend profile would be the same. So frequency matching kind of went out of fashion, but Wilson, I believe, still do it, frequency match shafts. Obviously, you've still got to get it dynamically checked, but if your tempo's steady and the same, frequency match should give you the most consistency. There's other little tricks you can do as well. Like famously, I know we're diverging off the topic of the driver, but famously, how Tiger Woods likes his irons made up is quite amazing. So he'll get his irons, basically, they'll all be separate, right? So, like, the heads will not be here, they'll be off, the shafts will be off, everything will be off. Now, for a while, Tiger liked to get his irons through bored, so that involves boring through the hosel so that you're straight through with the shaft. He went away from that, but he's still not went away from something that you would think by now, you would think modern technology, bound to stop doing that, but no, Tiger still does this. So when he gets his iron shaft put in here, he gets like a small weight put in so that he can get it up in weight, but he gets it up in weight here and he gets it up in weight here because he gets taped so that the swing weight is consistent. But the final thing they do is they take a wooden dowel and they ram it down inside the neck of the shaft, a wooden dowel, right? And it gets rammed right down to the tip. And Tiger believes, and has always believed, that it gives him better feel within the iron set, and slightly dampens the frequencies coming up the shaft when you're at impact. There's been shafts out, Sensacore Dynamic Gold, right? And they've had, and Ping did the same thing. Halfway down the shaft, there's like a rubber insert that gets rammed in, sits about here, and it's supposed to dampen vibration. And Dynamic Gold called it Sensacore. Ping called it cushion. Whether it did the same job as the wooden dowel is open to debate. Tiger never used them, and it's really an old school. Like if you go back to like Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, heck, they were getting that done, right? What I'm talking about with the wooden dowels and all that stuff rammed down, and in the modern game with the power bats and like cranked lofts. I mean, Tiger's one of the few. Tiger, Rory, Fitzpatrick, Lowry, they play standard lofts, like not cranked, like real standard lofts, forged irons. They hit the balls far, so they don't need cranked lofts. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, how technology's moved on, and obviously with the driver, I'm talking about that that M4 head being more aerodynamic, purely because the head on the top looks the same size, but underneath, because they shave it that away, it actually goes through the air faster than the M2 head does. And obviously the built-in twist face, which the M2 head doesn't have. Not to say that the M2 isn't a great driver, because like I said, out on a golf course, this was a different animal. It sounds like that does in the bay. So if anything, that sounds a heck of a lot louder. But yeah, impressive. So thanks for watching and supporting the channel. A subscribe to the channel is helping the charities. Macmillan, Help the Heroes and Shelter UK. It is a slow process because it's based on ad revenue, and we're not that big a channel, so ad revenue is just driven by views, right? So I think, well, somebody told me if you get 1,000 views, you get about £7. So every 1,000 views I would get, £7 would be going to charity. That's the theory. But obviously, if you check my videos, not very many get 1,000 views. So I may be getting £1 here, £2 there, and it'll slowly add up over months and months and months. But it will eventually help the charity. So that's the main thing. So thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope the mic's worked, because I've just talked for I don't know how many minutes, and I don't fancy trying to overdub and remembering what I said. I can't remember what I said 5 minutes ago. So cheers for watching and supporting the channel. Hope you enjoyed the wee different in the sound. You can watch the M2 video, because the sound difference between those two heads is it's a night and day. And it's absolutely freezing up here again.